All right, so my name is Cayley Fleischman. I'm in my third year of a neuroscience and psych combined degree, and I'm from the United States. So yeah, I think it was definitely a challenge for myself and pretty much every other student who was on campus in the spring. It was really difficult because the transition was so quick. Like it was a very quick turnaround to being online. For me, I actually was doing an independent study and working in the lab again this last spring. So it was quite difficult to go from coming in daily, working with the animals, conducting tests to like just doing things online. And yeah, there was definitely quite a bit of a challenge, I think, for me and for a lot of other students was the motivation aspect of it. Like a lot of us really didn't feel motivated to keep going and motivated to finish the semester. But I think a lot of us did feel supported by our professors because it was a big change for them as well and a big just change overall for everyone. And so, a lot of times when we felt like we were lacking that motivation, even I could just reach out, email my professor, and just apologize for, if I had something late or if it wasn't to my best quality of work. And there was a great mutual understanding because we were kind of all in this together. But yeah, I definitely tried to do my best to adapt. Like I set up my own workspace at my house and tried to, like really just stay motivated and finish out the last part of the semester. And it was definitely a big, big challenge, but I think we all came out on the other side of it pretty well. And so I actually, when I moved from the United States, I moved with my grandma here, who lives in Lethbridge. So I've been living here for about 2 years now. So it was nice for me because I'd already been living here for a bit and I had like a home in Lethbridge I could stay at. But I did think about going back to the States just for a bit, like maybe to spend some time with my dad and see him. But it became quite apparent quite quickly that I wasn't really going to be able to do that with the borders closing. So it has been quite difficult. I haven't seen my dad in almost 8 months now. But it has been nice being back home with my family and just being able to have their support as I like continue through university. And just being able to see my family and just being able to be around them still is a really nice feeling to have. Yeah, so this summer I was actually planning on working in the labs again. I wanted to either try and get funding or do another applied study like I did last semester, but unfortunately, we haven't been able to go back into the lab yet. It's still been really restricted. So I was kind of feeling at a loss of what I could do, but I actually worked with the co-op program here at the university, and I did a co-op work term at the university. I worked at the Career and Counseling Services Center. So I was kind of just one of their student workers for the summer. And it was great. I actually worked with Jasmine, my co-op coordinator, and we did an accommodated work term. So I have accommodations through the Accommodated Learning Center, and so this was really nice to have like accommodations with work as well. So I was kind of like one of the first students to do that program, and it turned out really well. I had a wonderful summer working there. It wasn't something I ever thought I would do, but it was definitely a wonderful experience, and I learned so much from it. And it was really great to get not only, the pay, but also like the course credit as well. So I took a couple classes this summer, and that was definitely a really nice thing to do. And yeah, I also took a couple, like I said, summer classes just over Zoom, and that definitely helped for me to kind of get my footing. So I feel much more prepared for the fall. And yeah, I'm going to be coming back as a full-time student again in the fall. I'm in that part of my degree where I don't really have a lot of labs anymore, so it's quite a bit easier for me. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to the last few months, and I'm excited to I guess, come back to university. But I'm excited to kind of get back into the swing of things for sure. That I think is going to be one of the biggest challenges students face is just being able to get engaged and be active with the campus community. I think that it's going to be quite different, but still achievable. I know a lot of different clubs and organizations have been running online events. Like, for example, I'm I'm a student rep with the Students Union, and so all summer we've been doing really cool like online programming. So we've been having like online bingo, or we all get together and watch a hockey game, or we play like fun online games together. And I think we're going to be continuing that through the fall. And just with other clubs and organizations I'm a part of, we've just been kind of coordinating what we can do as far as online meetups and things like that. And then as well as like social distance meetups. So being 6 feet apart, still wearing masks, but still being able to like meet on campus. I know the Students Union for Fresh Fest is having a couple of those events too. So I think there'll be quite a few opportunities, and it's definitely the challenge of figuring out which ones you want to go to. But I think we've all done a really good job of adapting and trying to bring like a good student experience while still being online and adhering to guidelines. So I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of students and for myself as well. But I'm definitely up for it. I think it'll be interesting. And I think a lot of us can empathize with one another and how weird the situation is. So I think that'll definitely help to kind of strengthen the community, and like even though we're not on campus. Oh yeah, there's been quite a bit, honestly. I think the biggest thing that surprised me is just how quickly we all got into this routine. Like just, the changeover in March was very sudden, but once we kind of got into the swing of things, it's really just become, like you said, the new normal. Like it feels quite normal for me to log on and do my stuff online. I think what has surprised me most, just in terms of like how the universities handle things and how students are reacting to things, is just how well we've been able to like transition online and just use Moodle and use other like resources to learn online. And I think the other thing that's really surprised me too, that I didn't know I had, is like the ability to like motivate myself when I'm not in like a school environment. I think a lot of students come to campus and rely on coming to campus and like working in the library or in the PE building by the pool, and getting their work done like in a school environment. And so I think it's been a big challenge to try and bring that to your home life, and where you kind of maybe are relaxing or not really doing school. So I think personally for me, the biggest thing that I've found myself to be doing is just working from home and creating an environment at home to work in. And that was something I never thought I'd be able to do. Like I was very regimented about having school things at school, home things at home. So I've been very surprised that I've been able to have a good, strong work environment at home and create good habits for schoolwork at my house, where I kind of wasn't really working during the last year. And I think a lot of students are finding that too. And it's definitely been a learning curve for sure, but now I feel much more comfortable going into the fall semester with what I've learned. Oh, I've got quite a bit. I think there's a lot of things I wish I would have been told when I came into university. And like, had I known this, I think I would have definitely done better than in my first 2 years. But just make sure to find that balance between academic and personal life. I think if you do one more than the other, you really don't get the most out of your university experience. I was really academically oriented, which is a good thing, but it was to the point where I was sacrificing my social life and not really getting that full university experience of making friends, joining like on-campus organizations, getting to know different social groups on campus, because I was so just studying 24 hours a day. So I would recommend that you definitely work to find that balance so that you are able to experience, the academic side, but also the social side of university. And I think another thing too, just as far as online learning goes, make sure you have a designated spot in your house or like a desk or somewhere in your room where you're able to work. I know for me, that was the biggest thing. If I just created a work environment, like decorated it with things that maybe like reminded me of school, or just had an area where all I did in that area was work, really helped me to stay motivated. Like as soon as I'd sit down at my desk, I'd feel a little bit more motivated because I'd established that this is a place to work. So I would recommend for all the new students coming in that you find somewhere that you can work and that you can feel motivated. And the biggest thing I think too is to reach out to your professors and to reach out to other people on campus or your friend groups, and look at all the students that we have. Those are kind of the biggest things I think that we
need to emphasize and that you need to understand coming into university is that there are resources to help you and there are people who want to help you, and not everyone is against you, and that it's really important that you take the time to take care of yourself as well. A lot of us are really worried about how it's going to go, but I think the university is really trying to support students in this time, and I think we'll honestly get through it together. I know that sounds really cheesy, but honestly, just working, reaching out to other students and using the resources on campus and trying to make the most of your first year online. It's not how you probably expected university to go, but I think it'll still be good, and hopefully we'll all have a good, productive year.